What's that? Cowboy noises?
Yeah.
Is that a lot of cowboys there?
Probably the guards in jail were definitely half horse.
Half what?
Like horse.
Oh.
I told him I knew how to escape. I told the therapist there, and he says, how? And I said, I just need one other person and one of those horse costumes with the two people. And so then we would just walk straight out, and they would just think that we were on our way to the kitchen to be the next meal.
Do you give us permission to use this video on our YouTube channel?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're here with
Chelsea Ray Gray.
Chelsea Ray Gray?
Yeah.
Unique. That's your real name?
Yeah.
All right, Chelsea Ray Gray. I'm just going to call you Chelsea. Is that all right?
Yeah.
How old are you, Chelsea?
I am 27.
Yeah.
For the last couple years.
Yeah? What's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Are you a typical Leo?
I don't know. I don't know what typical is. People tell me I run them over. So.
Are you Is it dominant? Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea because I don't really think like that. And then my friend is a dominatrix and sat me down and was like, let me tell you a little something.
Your friend was a dominatrix?
Yeah. And it turns out, you know, like they're absolutely right. Like I didn't even realize that I had people doing all this stuff for me.
Now you have an interesting story because we talked for a while.
Yeah.
I want to know your full background. Is that all right with you?
I wouldn't possibly have time for my full background.
Yeah, some of it?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
I don't.
Oh, you want to start about? Oh, you want to talk about where you were born?
What do you mean?
Oh, like where were you born? What city?
Yeah, I don't really want to go into all that.
All right, Chelsea, where are you from originally?
I'm from New Mexico.
New Mexico, all right. Or did you go to school there?
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah. You went to school there. Well, what did you graduate?
Yeah, that's like centuries ago.
Yeah.
I am very, very, very old.
You kind of sound like Borat there.
I drink blood to sustain my youthful beauty.
Sound like Borat.
Yes, Slovak, Transylvania.
Yeah. What's your ethnic background?
I come from the Carpathian Mountains. I'm just kidding. I'm from New Mexico. I am European, North African, American Indian, and Middle Eastern.
Awesome. Do you have any children?
No.
All right. When you were in school, from the sounds of what you said, you had a pretty easy time? School was pretty easy for you? Yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about.
You want to talk about school?
Okay. No, I had a really, really horrible life. Like kids used to throw food at me and stuff.
I'm sorry, you were bullied?
Yeah. Boys would ask me out as a joke, and then my father was really, really abusive. He shaved my head when I started high school to keep the boys away.
He shaved your head?
Yeah, he
That's
shaved
abuse.
all my hair off. Yeah.
That's abuse. Were you physically abused or
Yeah,
sexually
he was
abused?
disgusting. Yeah, he is dead, and that's cool.
Was he sexually abusing you too?
I prefer not to get into all that stuff.
That's no problem, no problem.
I've blocked most of my.
You blocked most. Okay. Did you get
most of
therapy
my
and
upbringing
counseling
out.
for all that?
I went to a therapist a few years ago, and they told me that they weren't qualified to deal with my level of issues. But for the most part, I've kind of smashed it all down with a lot of release through rock and roll and drugs.
So wait a minute. Your therapist professionals were telling you that they're not qualified to care
Yeah,
for your needs?
I kind of flew off the handle, but I used to get prescribed Klonopin and Xanax and stuff.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And for a mood stabilizer, I've never been more unstable.
Oh, wow. So you never found a therapist that would work with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really I don't really feel like I need it right now. The only short-term goals as far as that goes is I want to find a hypnotherapist that specializes in people who've been abducted by aliens.
Abducted by
And that's
aliens?
a real thing, yeah. Some people who don't know what they're talking about think that that's crazy, but there are hypnotherapists, especially in Las Vegas. Nevada is kind of a hot spot for a lot of UFO phenomena and people who are very interested in that. And so
Are
you
you
can
interested in
find
that?
Yeah. definitely. My best friend in the world told me that he was concerned about me ending up crazy. He said, especially like around, I was like 18 or 19, and he thought I was going to end up nuts because I was telling him that I was being abducted by aliens almost every night. And what's funny about that is I said, when was that? I don't remember. Which is usually like telltale sign, like.
What drugs do you currently use?
By trade, I'm a heroin addict.
Okay.
You know, and if I were successful, you know, in my career path at this point, you know, I would do it every day for the rest of my life. I was in a program and they asked me what about, you know, my method of ingestion felt so good that I kept going back for more. And so I did a fatty and I went back and without thinking, I answered the question.
Hey everyone, just wanted to pause for a second and thank you so much for choosing to click on this video. If you like what you're watching, please visit the channel to check out our backlog and stick around because we're always posting new content. All the information about us you could possibly need, including our contact information, website, Cash App, and what information regarding our guests that we can provide will be in the description box. If you're interested in supporting the channel with more than your valuable time so we can keep bringing you more content, consider supporting our line of recovery apparel and accessories or send your contributions via Cash App. Once again, thank you so much for being a part of this community.
My answer was, it feels like I'm getting a big warm hug from a wholesome father figure.
A fulsome father figure you never had.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's how you describe heroin? I've heard that before
that's
too.
pretty funny, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that
was like,
before
oh
too.
my God, how embarrassing.
Heard that before. I know you don't want to talk about your childhood because you blocked it all out, but
Yeah.
can you tell us around what age you started using drugs?
Well, okay, I was going to kind of veer that. My favorite drug is acid.
Okay.
And I've done that probably a couple hundred times. But I wouldn't be the person that I am without doing it. And like, it really, really, really like changed my life and opened my perspective and opened my third eye. And I did that for the first time when I was 14, and it was absolutely fucking terrifying.
14 acid?
It was so scary. I don't know like why I continued, but I kept trying it, and it was real scary, but I kept with it.
Why do you think you're using drugs?
Yeah, I'm just really depressed. I'm really, really unhappy with the situation that I'm in. I really don't want to be here, and so it's just kind of like duct taping a hole on a boat.
When you say you don't want to be here, what do you mean?
In Nevada. I hate Nevada.
You say Nevada. Why did you come here?
I worked in a punk rock venue, and I worked doing promotion and doing punk rock clothing and stuff like that. And so, you know, I was like serving drinks to rock stars and all this cool stuff. But I actually quit because, you know, like, I don't know, it was just petty. Like, people were real petty. Like, the owner liked to, like, get the girls that worked in the venue fighting with each other, and like I didn't really play along with that.
Jerry Springer stuff.
Yeah, I don't really like care about stuff like that, and so they didn't like that they couldn't really get under my skin too much.
Do you have any celebrity encounters?
Yeah, I'm blocked from Tommy Lee's Instagram.
You're blocked from Tommy Lee, the rock star?
Yeah.
What was he in? Iron Maiden? No, not Iron Maiden.
No,
sorry.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue, yeah.
Yeah.
Why were you blocked from his Instagram?
It was his girlfriend's birthday, and they had just got here, and we were in the Chelsea Tower at Cosmopolitan, and I was going up an escalator, and he was coming down, and before I knew it, like, I had smacked him, and I know you. I don't even know what I said to him, but he was following me up the escalator backwards, and this girl ran up and smacked him and grabbed him. And,
Where'd you smack him?
No, she did. I like punched him in the arm or something.
Okay.
Like I have no idea what I said to him at all. I don't remember. I was starstruck. I love
Tommy
him.
Lee, huh?
Yeah.
Did you like Tommy Lee?
That was my man when I was like growing up. Ooh.
Wow. So
Yeah.
growing up, what were you listening to?
Motley Crue on cassette.
Okay. On cassette, you're only 31.
Yeah. I don't really listen to anything modern. I prefer like vinyl or cassette to modern interfaces, and I don't really care for much after 1990. I could probably name like 10 or 15 records off the top of my head that are like worth anything after
Really, after
1990.
1990.
I'm really, really, really rigid in my
Who influenced you?
pretentious music taste.
Well, yeah. What was your influence? Was your parents listening to that stuff? Or
No.
how'd you start listening to that kind of music?
No,
Which is
no.
awesome. but-
They're fucking dead. Thank God. And I don't know, like I just got, I had to really fight to be myself, and so like I just got really into it. I don't know, I guess like psychedelics and stuff when I was young. I got into like Jim Morrison and the Doors, and you know, I've always been kind of, I was into like Depeche Mode and stuff when I was like 16. I was really into like Motley Crue, like I said, when I was 14. That was like the first like band I was really, really stupid into. And then I got into like the punk rock scene around like age 16. And so just going and being able to be a freak and be okay, and it was totally normal and people treated me like a human. I kind of got heavily involved in like the whole punk rock scene, and then went from there. I'm really into mostly like post-punk now, and I have been for like the last like 10 years or so, but yeah, I listened to like heavier stuff then, and now I've kind of like, my music taste is a lot more soft and like death rock, which is not to be confused with death metal. Ugh.
Did you play any instruments when you were younger?
Yeah, I can. Actually, from the time I could talk, I like said I was going to sing for a band, and you know, I ran away when I was 15. My parents always said that I was tone deaf, and I had guitars and amps. I got a job the day I turned 14 and started buying equipment and stuff, and you know, they destroyed all of it and said
Who,
I
your
was
parents?
tone deaf. And so yeah, I had a lot of like self-esteem issues with that, and I really like questioned myself until like, I don't know, I started actually teaching myself how to like do music and sing and stuff in my early 20s, and now I'm actually all right.
Why don't you become a DJ when you get off the drugs and you're stable?
I've already done that. I
You've been a
have done
DJ?
like, yeah, drugs have nothing to do with anything. Like, the bar I worked in would joke like, how do you have the best sales and the cleanest bar, but you're smoking dope in the bathroom? You know, so I was allowed to do it. I had my own hour death rock block on punk rock radio out here. I even I spun a little bit at a punk rock bar on Halloween because I hadn't been there for like 2 years, and I walked in and they're like, oh shit. I have, you know, I could make a record. I have like all the makings to be on the same record label as Charles Manson. I just don't have any band members right now. All my equipment, all my art's been stolen in the last year.
Let's say a producer or someone who in the music industry sees this. What would you need to get started? What can they do for you?
I just need people to play with that are going to listen to my direction.
Do you have a social media or an email address you could share with us?
Yeah, it's elvisfcknxhrist, but it's elvisfcknxhrist @gmail. And then actually my Instagram was Elvis Christ with an X instead of a C.
Elvis Christ with the what?
It's a song by the Cramps with
Spell
an
it.
X instead of a C.
Got it. All right, Chelsea. Now, how do you survive out here? How do you make money?
Honestly, I couldn't even begin to answer that question. I like sell stuff all the time.
Okay.
Don't ask me how, but like, you know, I started the day with a knife, and then by the end of the day, like I have a tablet and a speaker and, you know, some Mac, like I don't know, like I have no idea how I've been
Okay.
doing it. Been bartering.
What about, have you ever worked on the streets, doing dates?
Yeah, but I don't, I absolutely refuse to do dates at this point. Like, I've had some really scary experiences. Last year, there was this guy that I thought was my friend, okay? He's this like 6'7" fucking like old black man. And we were going casino hopping. And before that, it was the 21st of July. And before that, I kept hearing the white bitch and the 21st. And so we're in the car, and we went to I think it was Mardi Gras Casino, and he starts talking to this guy, and he comes up to me and he says, we're going to go to Westgate Casino. He was from LA, so he didn't really know his way around. He said, this guy's a drug dealer. He wants to ride with you. He thinks you're cute. He's going to hit on you. He'll probably give you something. He's probably going to solicit you. You can say no, obviously. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, and I'll be right behind you. And it was about 10 minutes away, and I was naive, and I got in the car. And next thing I know, he started running red lights and ditched the guy that was driving behind us. The guy is calling my phone. The guy took my phone and threw it and proceeded to pull a fucking gun out. And it was really scary. And during that, like, I got raped in a moving vehicle, like, while he was driving, and it was really fucking scary. And I managed to get my phone off the floor during that, and I turned it off right away so that if it rang, he wouldn't know that I had it. And he kept trying to take me further and further, and I finally, I wasn't going to go. I had to jump out of a moving car.
And he was raping you while he was driving?
Yeah, it was like making me suck his dick, yeah, with a gun to my head.
Did you ever have a pimp while you were working the streets?
No, I was abducted, kind of. I was locked in a house for about a month. Not this summer, but the last summer before. It's really scary. I was walking through a park in broad daylight. There was 100 people around, and this guy came up and grabbed me by the throat and said, "You're my bitch now." And I was like, this isn't prison. The fuck is this? Well, the next day I came home, and the house, the abando that I was living in, him and 10 of his homies had come in with guns and taken over, and they had me there for a little over a month. They abducted this other boy from LA. He'd never been around anything ghetto in his life, and he got $900 every 2 days, and everybody there knew that, and they just kept beating him up and robbing him. And I didn't know why he kept staying. I thought he was creeping on me, but he was there to save my life. He said, "I'm going to get you out of here," and he got me out of there, but at the expense of his own life. He got killed in the process.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you know what? I am thankful every day, because it could have been so much worse. Most girls that go through what I went through don't make it out. They were threatening to have me chained up down in the tunnels under the city, which apparently that's a real thing. And I was really scared. And I did have to do a few things, people that I didn't want to, but they could have been running trains on me, and it could have been so much worse. I did wake up to this guy pulling a needle out of my arm. So I don't know, what I was shot up with. I have no idea, what happened.
How'd they kill the guy?
They shot him in the
front of
stomach.
you?
I wasn't there when that happened. He was on the ground for 6 hours, bleeding out. The Metro cop tried to force me to go back with the pimps. The guy that shot him was out on parole, and they said, "Oh, it's an accident." And they gave him a smack on the wrist, and they let him go. And they tried to force me to go with the pimps, and they let him bleed out on the ground for 6 hours.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is the human trafficking capital of the world, and people don't realize that, but
Las Vegas is?
yes, the police do work with them.
What's your opinion on prostitution? Should it be legalized?
I think it would be a lot less dangerous if it was.
What about drugs? Should drugs be legalized?
In places where they've decriminalized some of it, they have a lot less issues, and because if it's not so difficult for people to get, and it's not so stigmatized, and it's able to be done safely, harm reduction, there are less property crimes, there are less violent crimes, there are less robberies, there are less overdoses, things like that. There are less people getting gross abscesses from shooting up with dirty needles, and people are more educated and aware of how to safely regulate what they're doing, instead of having to get some sketchy under the table form of whatever drug it is that they're doing that doesn't have any regulation. It would be a lot safer.
What's your message to young people wanting to dabble into drugs? Honest.
Psychedelics.
Oh, you want you
Pro psychedelics.
You're pro psychedelic.
Stay off meth.
What if they have an addictive personality?
Well, if they're young, they're not going to know if they have an addictive personality. But I think everybody does to some degree. It's just a matter of self-control. I used to be really diligent. I never thought I would actually have the level of addiction that I've developed. I kind of tried heroin as like a step in my like artistic process. Because the most interesting artists usually do have an opiate issue, but I've been a little bit stuck on that step, and that's surprising to me. I have always been really, really diligent, and so for me to be to the level I am is crazy, but it's also been the worst couple years of my life, so I do think that it's kind of a Band-Aid right now.
You see yourself quitting soon?
Yeah, I have gotten clean 4 times in the last year
Do you
for
know where to
like a
go?
month at a time.
Do you know where to go if you want to get clean? Or
Yeah, I could go to a detox. I went to my first rehab a few months ago. I wanted to try it.
Yeah, which one was it?
I went to West Care,
Okay.
but I don't recommend West Care.
Why is that?
It just sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked, and I ended up leaving because they wanted me to make a statement against somebody to the police. Although the first thing they said when we got there is that even if the police were looking for somebody there, it's against HIPAA regulation for them to confirm or deny that somebody was present. And they snuck the police in on her, and she was taken away, and the way that they did that was wrong.
Where would you like to see yourself in a couple years? In a perfect world?
On tour.
Yeah?
With a band, yeah.
You want to be in that band, don't you?
Yeah, it's all right here.
What talents do you have? Let's say someone's watching this that has connections to take you places. What talents do you have to offer?
Well, I have a total fucking vision. Like, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly the sound that I want. I've got exactly the voice that I want. I was never a smoker. I actually smoked cigarettes for years, hating them, so I could make my voice deeper and raspier, and it worked. My art has all been stolen, so I guess
an artist.
it must be good, right?
You're an artist. You have copies of that you can send us?
No.
Nothing?
Everything's been taken.
Nothing saved?
So
Oh.
I guess it must have been good. That's all I can tell myself.
Okay. What if a genie gave you 3 wishes? What would you wish for?
Save the environment and the animals, which obviously would probably downsize the population, which is great. I would want, my career and artistic ambitions to reach fruition. And I don't know, I guess like peace and love, man.
Peace and love? So you love animals?
For all, yeah.
You love animals? What animal are you?
A cat.
Why are you a cat? You kind of look like a cat, but why?
Yeah, I can communicate with them. That sounds so crazy, but
You can communicate with animals?
it's not. Just cats.
You can communicate with cats? You being serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Like feral cats, like
Like off drugs? Like,
follow me around. Like,
Yeah.
drugs have nothing to do with anything. Like
yeah? What did it say to you?
they don't talk to me, like, but they listen to everything I say. I could tell my cat, like, go on the counter and grab that and come here, and my cat would go and pick it up and come and bring it. My cat
being
used the
facetious.
toilet, like,
I'm not being
Yeah, no, I
facetious.
know.
I'm trying to
I know.
understand. So you're just hanging out and you can...
my cat was like learning to use the toilet and
Yeah?
everything. Yeah.
If you could have lunch with anybody famous, past or present, who would it be?
Present Henry Rollins, past Jim Morrison,
Why is that?
because they're very, very brilliant.
Yeah?
Yep.
If you had a time machine, what year would you travel to?
I don't know. My favorite records are usually like 81 to 84.
You can go back in those days.
So maybe then.
You have any siblings?
No.
No siblings. Do you have anyone out there that are relatives or close loved ones?
My best friend, but I need to get a hold of him. I don't know if he's out of being locked up
Maybe
yet.
they'll see this and get a hold of you. What about no family, no cousins or anything?
Nope.
You're alone? Are you in
Yeah.
a relationship?
Nope.
What's the first thing you think about when you wake up?
Probably do I have a wake up dose?
That's common. Last thing you do before you go to bed?
Probably watch a movie.
Yeah, what kind of movies do you like?
I don't know. Old ones, funny ones.
Yeah. What's one
Whatever.
song you can listen to over and over again?
Oh my god, there's so many of those.
All right, give me a couple.
Oh god. That's like that's such a loaded question for me. I have so
Yeah.
many records that I listen to a lot. Let's say First and Last and Always record from 1981 by Sisters of Mercy.
Okay.
I tattooed the logo on my stomach. That. And then, I don't know, TSOL, Dance With Me. That's another good record.
Okay.
That one's also from 1981. Yeah.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Caramel.
Caramel. Are you on time or late?
It depends what it is. If it's a party, I'm fashionably late. If it's something professional, then I'm a little bit early.
Well, Chelsea, I really appreciate this interview. You're awesome, very intelligent, speak eloquently, and you have a bright future, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, if I don't fuck up this lifetime, I think that I'll get to ascend this dimension. But if I keep staying around Nevada and being depressed and bummed out, like I'm not gonna get anywhere with my dreams. So I just got to get the hell out of here.
What other powers do you have except talking to felines? Anything else?
I don't know. I can see things a lot.
You said
about
aliens?
people, or I just know stuff. I just have really weird ways of just like knowing and
Can
seeing
you sense
things.
dangerous people?
Generally, but my problem is like I usually see their capacity for being something awful, and then but they're not gonna go full blown. But I'm not as naive as I used to be.
When you were working the streets, were you able to see red flags?
Yeah, the problem is ignoring those, and that happens to a lot of girls.
Yeah.
You know, you see it, you're like, I got a bad feeling, but I'm just gonna go for it anyway, and then that's when
What's
it
your
ends up
message
bad.
to young women wanting to get into prostitution?
Don't fucking do it.
Okay, why not?
So many reasons. Like, I mean, if nothing else, you're going to end up resentful. I don't work in the sex industry anymore because, like, I would come home and be mean to my best friend.
Because
You
of
know,
that, yeah.
like, and he was
See, no one talks about
perfectly
that.
nice to me, and I had no reason to be rude, but I would come home and I would be rude.
Because of what you were doing.
Yeah.
No
I was
one
getting
talks about it.
aggressive, and I
Right.
started wearing big baggy clothes to cover myself, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm like beginning to skew the person that I am for what I feel like other people feel like, and that's not cool.
Did it affect your sex life too with your significant
Yeah,
other?
I would be mean. I was rude to him, and like he didn't deserve that. So I ended up leaving because I was like, I didn't move here to abuse you. I'm not living with you so I can be abusive to you. So since I can't seem to not be shitty right now and get over this like resentment issues I was having, like I left.
Okay.
And now we're best friends,
Are
but
you? Took a
you
lot
know,
of courage.
that was the most responsible thing I could do. I didn't want to damage him.
That took a lot of courage, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked.
Painful, but it was better for him
Yeah.
and you in the end.
I didn't want to hurt him, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea.
Yeah,
Really
thank
appreciate
you.
this interview. You're awesome.
Cool.
Oh, one more thing. Do you believe in God?
I believe in an omnipresent, multi-dimensional universe.
Okay. I want to know more.
Just infinite levels.
Okay.
I think that ultimate ascension, there is no body. There is, it's just all one, and that's you and everything.
So you believe in a higher power?
Yeah, but it's all one thing. I don't know if it's necessarily higher.
You believe in NA? Have you ever been to NA?
I actually enjoyed it. I like the meetings. I
Okay.
would recommend that for anybody that's,
Well, I recommend that for you. How about that?
I like
when you're
those.
ready?
Yeah. Meetings are cool.
I recommend that for you. Please give us an update when you're ready, okay?
Yeah.
I want to hear more about you. I
Cool.
want to hear more about your life.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
Thank
got
you
a
so
lot.
much, Chelsea.
Yeah, thank you.